In this video, I'm gonna show you why I think this is the best premium laptop that doesn't break the bank.
So how much are we talking here?
Now I have 6 reasons why I think it's the best and 2 why you might wanna stay away from it. So make sure you hang on for the entire video. There are a lot of premium laptops available on the market right now. Some cheaper, some more expensive.
Then I'd like the chipper chicken.
For me, this hits the sweet spot of around $1,000, sometimes as low as $750 if you catch it on sale.
That's a big ass discount.
Big ass discount.
I'll put links in the description below so you can check the live pricing and maybe you'll find it on sale, which would be incredible. As we go through the video, I'm gonna show you evidence of why I've made that claim that this is the best. First off, let's get into the build and the assembly of the laptop. Now keep in mind, the Lenovo Yoga 7i 2-in-1 is not necessarily the thinnest laptop. Here is an Asus VivoBook 14 OLED, and you can see it's a little bit thinner than the Lenovo Yoga 7i, but you're gonna get a benefit of the thickness of this laptop, and we'll talk more about that during the performance of this video, how the thickness actually is going to be a benefit to you. Now, as we look at it, it's an aluminum build quality. I love the way that the rounded edges come around the chassis. It's very comfortable to hold in your hand, and it's assembled very nicely. You can see no catchy edges as we go around the outside of the laptop. The back panel tucks in nicely here on the vent along the back, so you have really nice ventilation. You can see the singular fan here in the chassis, so it's gonna vent out very nicely, keep the laptop cool, keep it performing very well with the Intel Core Ultra 7. And as we flip it over and go ahead and look at the top, do a little chassis press on the top, you can see it does not dip down a lot, so it's a nice rigid top cover. Now, testing out a little open and close test on the laptop, it is a bit of a stiffer hinge. Once again, I'm gonna show you how that will benefit you a little bit later in the video as we talk about another feature, why I think this is the best premium, somewhat affordable laptop available on the market. Now, one thing I want to test out also is the screen bounce. It's something I do on a lot of laptops. Some people are really on the go, especially with a laptop like this form factor. As you can see, if you're on an airplane or if you're on a train or in the back of an Uber, the screen will not bounce too much. It stabilizes quickly. Now, checking out the Screen Flex, a very good rigid top cover. The aluminum build on this laptop is very solid. Now, let's go ahead and close it down before we get too far into the interior of the laptop and take a look at the ports. Now, you're going to have 2 USB Type-Cs. It'll come with a 65-watt charger block, which will use a USB-C to charge. Honestly, that's one area that I'm like so about. I like when they have dedicated charger ports because that way you don't have to take up one of your USB-Cs with charging your laptop. We have a headphone jack and HDMI, so great connectivity on this laptop, and then a micro SD card reader as well as a USB Type-A. Now, a lot of times, these smaller laptops, you can't upgrade anything in the laptop. And even if you can upgrade the SSD, upgrading the boot drive can be really hazardous for an amateur computer user. Even myself, having reviewed laptops for over 7 years now, I still get nervous and a little weary about updating a boot drive because it's like, okay, what if it doesn't work right? Or what's the hassle? It gets finicky. So I love that you have the micro SD card reader on this so you can quickly expand your storage by just dropping some micro SD cards in. You can get them in 512 or 1 terabyte, quickly expand your storage. Big thanks to Lenovo for sending over the Yoga 7i and sponsoring this video, making it possible to keep this channel alive and help you make a qualified purchase decision. Now, as we jump into the interior of the laptop, this is another reason I think this is one of the top premium laptops on a budget. We have upward facing speakers on the laptop. If you look at the bottom, no speaker grills on the bottom of the laptop. The audio is very crisp. Even though it is not the top of the Yoga line, the Yoga 9i, we still have upward facing speakers. On the 9i, you have that bar that comes across as the speaker. Here you have them on the sides. Here's a quick audio sample so you can hear for yourself what it sounds like. This is the webcam on the Lenovo Yoga 2-in-1 14 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. And the next thing is going to be the pen compatibility. Not a lot of thin and light premium laptops are actually pen compatible. Now, this is one thing that really stands out to me. I'm gonna give you a quick tour of the pen. All right, while I've been using the pen on the screen, I'm messing around with it for a while, And though the hinge is stiff and the screen doesn't move back when I push, I do find myself kind of stabilizing it as I'm working, just so it doesn't shake around a lot. But you don't have to, right? So I can just go ahead and use it. That way I can access, like Command Z and changing, brush sizes or whatever very easily. Maybe going to a different tool like the selection tool. It is a little bit on the bouncy side as I am, making my marks on the screen. So I do find myself naturally just gravitating towards holding the screen. I'm somebody who likes to use the touch screen with the pen compatibility with the keyboard accessible because then I can use shortcuts. Now I know people who go ahead and get an external keyboard so they can flip it over into say portrait mode and use the laptop this way and then just have a keyboard other in another place and they can draw on it no problem and it doesn't move at all. So it really just depends on your workflow and what you're going for, but the pen touch sensitivity is very nice. You can see I can draw very lightly, and as I draw harder, I can make a harder, more defined line, a little bit thicker. So it does work very well. It has great touch sensitivity, and it is very stable. All right, now a little side note about the pen. It is a good pen. It has great touch sensitivity. I like the way it feels in my hand. It's a good size. However, one thing I wish they would do is make it USB-C chargeable. It does come with a battery when you get it in the package. However, it's kind of this odd battery size. It's a quadruple A battery. So make sure you keep an extra one of these around so you don't run out of battery. I think these devices shipping with a USB Type-C pen would be a great update. Now you might say, okay, we talked about the pen compatibility, Ben, but what about the Spectre X360? That's pen compatible. And I would say yes, it is, and it works very well. However, for the same configuration of specs, the HP Spectre X360 costs $1,600. So that's going to be $600 more than the Lenovo Yoga 7i. Now that does come with an OLED display. That is one of the downsides of the Yoga 7i. I'll dive a little bit deeper into that in just a little bit. But this is a 2K non-OLED display, which gives it less color accuracy and color gamut range. That would be an advantage that the HP Spectre would have, but it's $600 more retail price. Right now, the Lenovo Yoga 7i 2-in-1 is available for $1,049, and I've actually seen it on sale for $749.
Exactly.
So that's a vast price difference between some of the other premium laptops that are available on the market, which don't even have pen compatibility. So for digital artists and photographers, this makes for a fantastic setup. Now let's dive into another element of this laptop that really stands out to me, and that's the performance. Earlier, I talked about the form factor. This laptop is a little bit thicker and a little bit heavier than some of the other super thin and super light laptops available on the market right now, but that has its own advantage. A lot of times these thinner and lighter laptops don't have as much ventilation ability. They're just so packed in there. They end up thermal throttling in order to stay cool. And so the performance of this laptop is on par with laptops with even the Intel Core Ultra 9. The Asus ZenBook Duo has the Intel Core Ultra 9 and 32 gigs of RAM, and the Yoga 7i is right on its heels. And you're gonna save, like I've been saying, around $600 compared to some of these other laptops. You can see in Photoshop, we have a 4,964 compared to the ZenBook Duo with the Intel Core Ultra 9 185H and 32 gigs of RAM at 5,176. The Yoga 7i 2-in-1 technically has a less powerful CPU and half the RAM, though we're getting nearly the same performance. Now let's go ahead and move on to video editing. Let's say you want to edit 1080p or 4K. For the 1080p export time, we have a 1 minute and 9 second export time. The ZenBook has a 1 minute and 10 second export time. Again, more powerful CPU, more RAM. Well, not more RAM in air quotes, actually more RAM in the ZenBook, and we have a 1 second better export time. Take that to 4K. We're gonna take a 9-minute 4K clip, place it into Premiere Pro, and export out at full quality 4K settings. 4 minutes and 11 seconds from the Yoga 7i, 4 minutes and 13 seconds from the ZenBook Duo. Now the crazier thing is if I'm to unplug from power, we keep that export time really solid at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So not only are you going to have great export times while plugged into your charger, but even running on battery power, you're still going to have a great export time. Now let's look at playback. Let's say you're editing 4K footage. You're gonna have 0 drop frames for 1080p out of the 16,177 in the project, 0 drop frames at half quality playback for 4K, 12 drop frames at 4K full quality playback, and if you're to unplug from the charger and just use the battery, you're still only dropping 352 frames out of the 16,177 in the project. And you don't have a dedicated GPU, so this is really throwing down some great performance. Whether you're a digital artist, graphic designer, photographer, you're doing some video editing, 1080p or 4K, this laptop has the performance that you need, and like I mentioned, is pen compatible. Now let's get into 2 points that I want to be very clear on where you might want to shy away from this laptop, and then I'm going to give you some alternatives to consider. Okay, first and foremost, the display. This is the budget-friendly premium version of the Yoga 9i. This has a 2K display that's 1920 by 1200, 338 nits of screen brightness at 64% sRGB, 48% Adobe RGB, and 48% DCI-P3 at a Delta E of 3.34. So this is not very color accurate, and it does not have a large color gamut range. That is a con if you're considering this laptop as a digital artist and you want to have highly color accurate and a large color gamut range to choose from when working on this laptop. If you're somebody who needs color accuracy and color gamut range, I would recommend the Lenovo Yoga 9i 2-in-1. It's going to have the same CPU, except you're actually going to get an additional 32 gigs of RAM and a 4K OLED display, also pen compatible, and has great audio experience with the speaker bar where the hinge placement is. And this laptop will be $1,649 retail price. Again, I'll put links in the description if you want to check the live pricing. That will be the better fit for somebody who's looking for that color accuracy. Now, another thing to consider is the battery life. Okay, this is not going to be the best battery life on a thin and light laptop that's currently available on the market. There are other laptops that have better battery life. 9 hours and 39 minutes for productivity, 10 hours and 42 minutes for streaming video playback. Photoshop battery life is 6 hours and 43 minutes. And then Premiere Pro playback, that's playing a 4K file consistently till the battery goes dead inside of Premiere Pro playback, is 4 hours and 32 minutes. So still great battery life. You should be able to work a full day between answering emails, maybe working on some photo editing or some design and some quick video editing tweaks. However, there are laptops with longer battery life. So I just want to be clear that that is not one area that this laptop has a standout appearance, but it still has good results. If you're looking for a laptop with fantastic build quality, stellar performance, great ventilation, fantastic port connectivity, and it's pen compatible, meaning that you can take your digital art on the go very easily, then the Lenovo Yoga 7i, being a premium laptop, is still a great affordable option for you comparatively in the premium laptop lineup. As mentioned, there are cheaper laptops, but that's not why I made this video. Remember, there are links in the description below if you're ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos to help you with your buying decision. I'll see you in the next one.